Remember this, guys? Well, there's a V2 and it looks like this.
You're now tuned into pSyk's weekly Nerf dosage.
Hey, what's up, good people? Welcome to episode 141 of Pwned. This episode is about the V2 version. Actually, V2 stands for version 2. So what am I saying? I have no idea. But anyway, this episode is about the V2 Yokyo body kit for the Retaliator or the Recon. And this time, it's actually made by Worker. Fully molded and 100% pure awesome. You guys can now see the Worker logo over here. And I actually have made an unboxing and an installation video for you guys to take a look. So check it out. This product comes in the form of a nice, neatly packaged box. And on the flip side, you'll find the little tag. And the tag actually tells you what color this is. And mine is actually in grey. Alright, so let's crack this baby open. And this is what's inside. You'll find a few neatly packed stuff, so just take it all out. Then when you're done with that, on the flip side of the box, you'll find even more stuff, so take everything out. Then just shake the whole box and check that it's empty. I don't know why I did that. But anyway, unwrapping the plastic of the items, you'll find the main body kits of the Yokyo shell. And that's made up of 2 side plates and 1 big center piece, which is basically the barrel. Then you'll find the triangle piece that holds the barrel to the body of your blaster, as well as a bunch of screws. And you'll find little plastic pieces in there as well. Now I'll explain the plastic pieces in a while, but let's go take a look at the beautiful assembled barrel piece. Alright, this is beautiful, isn't it? Look at the detail. Okay, so it comes already screwed in with the first screw over there. So in order to install it, you got to make sure that you take out the first screw. This is what it looks like on the inside. And you can actually just lift off the inner barrel. Now in order to take a closer look, you can just slide the pump piece off. Then you can also remove the orange inner barrel tube. Now you can also remove the red piece of that black connector piece, but I don't want to do that right now. But anyway, this orange barrel is friction fit and you can see the Worker branding on it. This is basically a cut down version of what you get when you buy the full length Worker barrel. Now when you slide the orange barrel back, just make sure that it's flush towards the end, and you can also see that it also has the nice grooves that will slide onto the muzzle of the blaster. Now let's look at the body pieces, and the first thing you'll see is a very nice full charging handle design, and everything is just so clean and so nice. You can see the edges are really nicely cut out as well. Everything is just so clean and so sharp. All the edges are very well pronounced, no flashes at all as well. And to connect the 2 sides together, there also are nubs and grooves that will slide into each other, and it's like a snug friction fit. Of course, you're going to need to screw it in anyway, but this already holds the 2 pieces in place and you can see that it fits very well. Very clean. I'm really impressed with this. This is the outer shell of the front barrel. Now I'm going to show you guys what the little plastic pieces that came with the packet of screws is for. They slide underneath the so-called keyboard slots, and basically they're used if you guys have any of the Worker side rails. Alright, on to the installation. I have a yellow Recon shell. Now I want you guys to know that this kit works on both the Recon and the Retaliator. Alright, so we're going to remove the back piece and then we're going to open up the whole blaster. Then we're going to look at the bolt sled, and you want to get these 2 gold stub pins. These will go into the sides of the bolt sled, and you can actually see that there are 2 halves to it. One half is a hex nut shape and the other half is just a circular star shape. I don't know what you call this, but maybe it's like a grooved cylinder of sorts. But yeah, you want to make sure that hex nut shape is on the outside, and you got to line it well. And when you slide it in, make sure that it sits flush. Now you want to do this on both sides of the bolt sled and make sure that you get it all the way flush. In my example, I don't have it completely flush, and that's because I needed to hammer it because I'm using a metal Orange Modworks Recon bolt sled. This is a pretty tight fit, but these pins would sit in very nicely on a stock bolt sled. I'm not so sure about Worker bolt sled. I think the Worker bolt sled would be totally fine. I don't know about, the new Orange Modworks Retaliator bolt sled, but for this particular metal bolt sled for the Recon, you got to make sure you hammer it in all the way, and you got to make sure that it's flush. Just trust me on this. Make sure that it is flush to the washer, okay? When you're done installing the pins, just put the bolt sled back into place and you want to close up your blaster. And I don't even know why I'm showing this to you guys. I mean, you guys already know what closing up the blaster should be like, right? Just wasting your time, haha. Then grab the whole inner barrel assembly and slip it onto the muzzle of your blaster, just like you would with any Nerf barrel attachment. Then slide on the pump grip. Make sure that it slides onto the outer red barrel, and then you want to line up the screw ports on the side of the arms and get the flat head screws and screw them in. Next, grab the 2 body side pieces, line them up and fit them on. Make sure it's nice and snug and flush to the back of the blaster, then grab the standard round head screws and screw them in on the top rail. Next, we want to install the cover pieces for the barrel, and we do that by aligning the back to the muzzle connector piece and checking that in front is flush with the orange barrel. Once this side is lined up, the other piece just fits on easily. Once again, get the standard round-headed screws and install them on the top rail, but this time you want to get the original screw that you removed from the front bottom screw port and install it back. Then finish it off with one final screw to the screw port that is next to the mag well. Next, you want to grab the triangle piece, slide it on from the bottom up, make sure that the screw ports align. And now for this part, I'm not so sure which screws we're supposed to use because I tried both the standard screw and the flathead screws and they both work, so it's up to you. For this example, I actually use the flathead screws and just screw them in. Now once that's done, you've basically completed the installation. Now you can just admire the beauty that this thing is. Look at how clean this is. This is just really amazing. And I want to let you guys know that, bam, it is also available in transparent. This is just amazing. It's nothing short of beautiful. I don't really know how else to describe it except this is just beautiful. That's all. Alright, catch you guys in the main part of the video. Welcome back. Now for the sake of comparison, I have the V1 3D printed version as well as the V2 right here. Of course, we're gonna have to ignore the stock, but basically it's just a body kit, right? This is the entire set that the V1 came with, including this pump grip over here. There was 3 long screws at the bottom and it screws into the Picatinny attachment at the bottom. So yes, you can remove this and swap it out for any other Picatinny front grip attachment that you like. But the original version was 3D printed, number one. It looked really sleek and it has the Yokyo logo up here, which honestly was really cool looking. But in order for you to get rid of that, or at least lessen or reduce that very scary 3D printed sound, you know what I mean? That zipping kind of sound, you'd have to probably add a lot of lubricant, and I added lube on the inside of the arms over here as well as the insides of the shell parts. But all in all, this was a very beautifully made body kit, and you know, it was the first time that any of us actually saw the pump grip being housed within the shell itself, so that was really cool. And you know, a lot of people were looking for this kit. But now when Worker actually took over, I believe that Worker bought the files from Yokyo and they don't have the Yokyo logo anymore, so that's kind of sad. But it's molded very well, I have to say. Very well. Everything is so clean, no flashes at all, there's no like jagged edges and everything. And the improvement to the shell is that now there's a full charging handle design, not present in the original version, as you guys can see. And there are some slight changes to it, very minute changes. One of the most important things that you guys have to know is that for this particular Worker version, it comes with this clear red barrel over here and an orange clear barrel housed on the inside. Now you can of course swap this out for a solid orange barrel if you want to. You know, you can just scavenge any of your Nerf barrels, or alternatively you could buy Worker's other colors, which is like black, and there is a solid orange, and another one made by another company called Gun, and that one comes in pink. But if you guys want to swap out this red barrel over here, it is not possible, unfortunately, because Worker only makes them in one color. Alright, and it is not backward compatible with the V1, unfortunately. You can tell immediately by looking at the front over here. The V1 has this whole area and the inner barrel completely printed, but the V2 version does not. And you can see that the V2 version is very much more narrow in terms of the diameter compared to the V1, so it's not compatible at all, unfortunately. This V2 shell would not close if you use the V1 inner barrel, so that's a bit unfortunate. But with the V2, you don't get a grip that comes with it, which is also unfortunate because I was hoping that they would improve on the grip design. But when you saw in the installation video, it comes with little pieces where you can actually attach from the inside and screw on your rails. And I'm talking about Worker rails, because you know, Worker actually sells their own side rail attachments, and it depends on the configuration that you guys want. You can buy a long rail or mid rail or a short rail, I believe, and then you just have to space it out accordingly, or you can adjust it anywhere along this if you want. And I gotta admit that I do not know if this works with key mods, but I've already explained before that I don't think so, because the pump arms actually run on the inside right underneath, so those probably don't work. I also thought of tying some paracord to make it look cool, but the pump arms get in the way, so that's a bit unfortunate. But you know, this is just an amazing looking product. Like, I'm really surprised at the quality of this. I mean, we already know that Worker makes some really high quality stuff. Look at the buffer tubes, for example, or look at the previous Worker stock, or like the quality of the muzzles that Worker sells, things like that. But when I actually saw this shell, this is really something. I would dare say that this construction, or the way they made it, even rivals what Nerf has to offer. It's a really good strong plastic, and these are all just really clean. Everything is perfectly even, you know, unlike a certain company that says we mold stuff and it all turns out like shit. But this is really, look at that, it's completely lined up perfectly without the need of even screwing this up. It already lines up perfectly, so what else can I say? This is a really beautiful body kit, and I know that right now you guys are interested in looking at the clear version. Don't worry guys, I got you. Bam! This is the clear version. I decided to put it onto a Gear Up Recon shell using a Gear Up Raider stock. This is what it looks like right now, and the one thing I want to highlight to you guys is if you put stickers on your shell itself, it's gonna pop. Really beautiful. Look at this, this is awesome. Also, if you guys are wondering why there's a little black C-shaped piece over here, this is actually a side plate that was printed by Gavin. This is the original version, and I believe that you can actually purchase a newer version with option for you to have embossed, which is like a second layer of printed alphabets for your name. So that will be in a different color as well, and I think that's really awesome. But this was the original version with the name debossed inside, so you can't really see it, but it has my name inside there. And as I mentioned before, the inner barrel only comes with one color, so this is red, and it's a bit strange because you kind of see a clear red and then you see a clear orange on the front, so that's a little bit strange. I don't know if Worker's ever gonna make any other colors for this, but you know, and different options would be kind of sweet. So I have over here a collapsible grip, as you guys can see. The downside is that right now there's no clear furniture for vertical grip, or front grip in fact, and there's no clear stock. But I'm wondering if Worker will ever make it, because right now Worker has already made vertical grips molded and very nicely made, and also their Worker stock, right? So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that Worker will make some clear versions of those, and if they do, I'm definitely gonna get it and put it on, because that would make this entire kit look super sweet. Now if you put this onto a clear Recon, it's gonna look very nice as well, but do take note of one thing. This clear is a bit more frosted than the original clear Recon shell, so please take note of that. If you don't mind, then that's fine, you know what I mean? But this is just pure awesome anyway. Now the next thing I'm gonna tell you guys is really important, so listen up. Oh, while digging for stuff, I actually managed to find the pink barrel that I was talking about. This is by Men Gun, and this is a pink made, like, I don't know, Nerf standard barrel, but it's in pink. It's awesome. It's by Men Gun, and if I can find the link, I'll put it in the description, but if I don't, sorry guys. Alright, so back to the important thing I wanted to tell you guys. You guys know that when it comes to clear shells especially, I'm a huge fan of tinting clear shells in different colors. You guys already saw I had a tinted orange clear shell, and in the past my favorite tint was the smoke grey tint. So what did I do? I actually spent some money, bought a Yokyo clear body shell and tried to tint it, and I gotta tell you guys, don't. Look, this is what happened. It completely warped out of shape. I wanted to tint it the smoke grey to match my smoke grey clear Recon shell. Everything just warped, guys. Also, I want to tell you guys that I used black red dye, and it wasn't in boiling water. It was about like 80 degrees or so, and this is what happened to the shell. Now, the shell itself is made of a plastic. I don't know what plastic it was. I don't think it's ABS. It's actually pretty thick. You guys can see the walls are pretty thick. But you know, when you tint stuff, you don't want to put it into boiling water. You want to wait for the water to cool down a little bit. But this threshold is not good at all. The plastic itself is slightly soft in that sense. Kind of like, you know how the clear Maverick or the clear Recon shells are. It's slightly softer than the standard Nerf shells. So I thought it was gonna be fine, but I put it in for a couple of minutes and then it already just warped. So I just left it in there for the next half an hour or so, and this is how much of the dye it actually took in. Not much at all. Now just for comparison, you can see how much of the dye it took in, and that's just not worth it. Mind you, I actually used an entire bottle of red dye. So this is what happened, and I gotta tell you, like, these are the front pieces of the shell, and they just don't line up at all anymore. I mean, you guys know, I'm not kidding. This is the front. Look, it's just completely warped out of shape. Totally out of shape. And this is the body kit part. or the main blaster part. And you guys saw the 3. Look at these, they're not even lined up anymore at all. Like, I can't even fit them into the slots at all. Look. So this sucks, you know. And it's not cheap at all. But, you know, someone's got to do it. Someone's got to try. And that guy was me. And here I am telling you guys, don't try to tint it, okay? But here's a little idea for you guys though. Instead of tinting it, why don't you guys consider painting the inside of this? I've done it before on an old triple shot, an old clear triple shot, and the result was actually pretty cool because this thing sits on the outside of a shell, and when you install the pins, and if you make sure that the pins are sitting flush on the bolt sled, then the arms will not be rubbing the sides of the shell on the inside, so I don't think the paint will chip off. It might turn out quite interesting, especially if you use like a clear color paint or candy color paint. I think you could get some really cool effects. Hope that one of you guys actually goes ahead and tries it out and shows us all the results, because I want to see, you know. I only have this kit right now and I don't want to ruin it because I already ruined this one. So once again, I'm going to emphasize, please do not try to tint this plastic kit. Please do not, just leave it alone, okay? Hopefully in the future, maybe Worker will consider making other colors, I don't know. But right now, they offer 3 colors, which is black, grey, and this clear. And earlier on, I also told you guys to make sure that when you install the pins on your bolt sled, make sure that it is flush all the way, because even if you have a little bit of gap, it's gonna cause the side arms to be just a bit higher and further away from the shell, and that would mean that the arms will be rubbing against the inside of the kit, and you don't want that to happen. So make sure that it's flush, okay? So 2 things for you guys to take note. Number 1, don't tint it. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say this because I don't want you guys to buy this thing and then ruin it by tinting it. Number 2, make sure that when you install the pins, it's flush all the way. Alright you guys, with that said, we've come to the end of the episode. Thank you so much once again for sticking all the way throughout. I really appreciate the support. If you guys like this video, I hope you guys give me a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, I hope you guys consider subscribing. It would really help me out a lot. Stay tuned for the next episode because you guys know I have something interesting that I want to share with you guys. And because you guys stayed all the way till the end of this episode, I want to let you guys know ahead of time, I'm conducting a giveaway. It's not going to be a big giveaway, but it's going to be something interesting, so stay tuned for that. And I promise you that because I'm only going to send out 1 item, it's just this 1 item that's for giveaway, I will not be running into issues with the post office, and that is a promise, okay? Take my word for it. Oh, last but not least, I don't even know how I left this out, but I wanted to tell you guys that this is actually the grey version of the kit. I don't even understand what the difference is going to be between grey and black. This buffer tube attachment here is the F10555 crossover with Worker buffer tube attachment, and this is molded in black. Okay, I'm gonna assume this is black because, you know, Worker had a hand in it. But this is grey. Now, originally, a black kit was supposed to be sent over as well, but I think due to some accident, maybe like a human error, 2 greys were sent over instead. So, you know, there's no point showing you 2 greys. But this is the grey version, and this is a really dark grey. However, I chose to put it on a recon shell so you guys can see the dark grey recon handle versus the dark grey that Worker actually has for this kit, and versus the black that was actually made for the buffer tube. Alright, so you guys can go ahead and see the color difference for yourselves. To be honest with you, this is almost as good as black. If I were to give this a name, then let's call it Dark Onyx. Or how about Graphite Grey? Or like how Apple calls it Space Grey. I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna stop. That's it, guys. I know I got a funny eye this episode, but you know, sorry, and thank you for accepting me the way I am. Alright, so you know, just pay the bills and teamwork makes the dream work. See you next episode. Peace.